everyone. I know I promised a joke this time, but I've got nothing. I have no good jokes. Well, wait a minute. How about this one? Knock, knock. There. Boo. Boo. What you crying about? We're not going to get a snow day this week? That was a pretty good one, right? All right. So this week we're going to work on using partial quotient division to divide decimals. So we learned partial quotients at the beginning of the year. And if you'd like to review partial quotients with whole numbers, you can go back and review my video. I think it's called partial quotient division. But we're going to apply that same strategy to decimals today. So we're just going to start in with just some examples. So we're going to start with this problem. Woo. So we've got 3 3/1000 divided by 7/10. The first thing that we want to do is we want to make our divisor a whole number. And we can do that by multiplying our divisor since it's 7/10. If we multiply this by 10, it changes our divisor to the whole number 7. If I'm going to multiply my divisor by 10, I also need to multiply my dividend by 10. So we can, what we're really doing, yes, we're multiplying it by 10, but the easy way is to move the decimal point. So in this case, I moved it one place to the right. Then I need to move this one place to the right. So now this is what my problem looks like. So now I've got 30 3/100 divided by 7. And I'm going to use partial quotient division. And that's the big 7 method if that helps spark a memory for you. So now I can think to myself, how many times does 7 go into 30? And I know that if I divide 30 by 7, the most I could do would be 7 times 4 to get 28. So now I'm going to do my subtraction. And I want to make sure that when I'm subtracting using decimals that I line up my decimal points. And then 30 minus 28 gives me 2. So now I have to think to myself, here I have a decimal. I've got 2 3/100. For right now, I'm going to ignore my decimal. And I'm just going to think to myself, about how many times could 7 go into 20? And I know that it would go in 2 times. But if I want my answer to be a decimal answer, what do I need to do? 7 times what? So that's something that you can think about. 7 times what? What do I need to do to that 2? Should it be the whole number 2? That would give me 14. Or could it be maybe 2/10? If I multiply 7 by 2/10, I'm going to get 14. I have one decimal number in my problem, so I would have one decimal number in my answer. So 7 times 2/10 would give me 1 4/10. So I'm going to take away this chunk. And now I'm left with 63/100. So 7 times what gives me 63? And I know that that's going to be 9. Now, I need that to be in the hundredths place. So I need to make my 9 actually 9/100. Because 7 times 9/100 would give me 63/100. And now to get my answer, all I'm going to do is add. So I've got 4 wholes, I've got 2/10, and I've got 9/100. So I have 4 29/100 as my answer. Okay, let's try another one. Next we'll try 5 2/10 divided by 8/100. I've got 2 place values after the decimal point in my divisor, and I want to make this a whole number. So if I multiply my divisor by 100, or if I move my decimal point 2 places to the right, that gives me the whole number 8. Then I also need to multiply my dividend by 100, or I could think of it as moving my decimal point 2 places to the right. And then I'm going to fill in this spot with a 0. So that's going to give me 520. And I'm going to use my big 7. Now I'm going to take 520 divided by 8. So I'm going to start with just 52. And how many times would 8 go into 52? Well, I know that 6 times 8 gives me 48. So that means that 60 times 8 would give me 480. So I'm going to go ahead and do that subtraction. And that leaves me with 40. 40 divided by 8 gives me 5. 5 times 8 is 40. So now I can add these numbers. So 6 plus 5 gives me 65. All right. I'm going to have you go ahead and try this next one. We're going to have, 9 and 546 thousandths divided by 3/10. So go ahead and try this one on your own. Press pause, and when you're ready to check your answers, press play. Okay, first thing I want to do is make my divisor a whole number. So because I have a divisor in the tenths place, I would multiply by 10, or I would just move my decimal point 1 place to the right. I need to do the same thing to my dividend. I'm going to multiply it by 10, or you could think of it as moving your decimal 1 place to the right. So now my problem is going to look like this. $95 and then 46 hundredths. So I'm just going to start taking away chunks that I know. Now I know that 3 goes into 9 3 times. Whoops. So that means that if I add a 0, that'd be 90. 3 times 30 would give me 90. And I can do my subtraction. Now, maybe I'm just going to make it easy, and I'm just going to take away 3 times 1. So that's going to give me 3. So now I have 2 and 46 hundredths. So I'm going to think to myself, I'm going to start with 24. 3 would go into 24 8 times. And if I want it to be in the tenths place, I would say 8 tenths. So 3 times 8 tenths is going to give me 2 and 4 tenths. So I'm going to subtract, and I'm going to get 6 hundredths. 6 hundredths divided by 3. I know that 6 divided by 3 is 2, and if I want it in the hundredths place, I would have to multiply 3 by 2 hundredths. So now I'm going to add these up. I've got 30 plus 1 to get 31. And then 8 tenths plus 2 hundredths gives me 82 hundredths. So that would be my answer. All right, I'm going to give you one last problem to work on. And if you solve this problem on a sheet of notebook paper and bring it to me tomorrow, being Wednesday, February 12th, then you may get an extra $1 for your pocket. So let's do, oops, 26 hundredths divided by 13 hundredths. Oh, that's really easy. I better make it a little harder. Do that one, and then do this one too, and I'll give you $2. Let's do 2 and 25 hundredths divided by 45 hundredths. There, that's a little tougher. Make it worth your time. All right, guys, thanks so much. See you tomorrow.